Welcome to this week's video. This week I got a little bit of fixing and a little bit of diagnosing done on the Oldsmobile, and I got a little bit of diagnosing and a little bit of fixing done on the Crown Vic. That's about it. Let's hop right into it. As you might be able to see out there behind the Oldsmobile, it is a beautiful day today. However, it's still a bit chilly, but I can't turn the heat on because we're going to be running this thing. My main goal is to set timing on it. However, it does idle really rough and it struggles to start when it's cold. So first of all, I'm going to try and set the choke, which seems to be pretty simple, but we'll see if I can figure it out. And then after that, I gotta let it warm up and we'll set the timing. If my timing light works that I got from my grandpa. He had two of them. The first one was broken. See if the second one worked. All right, let's get this hood popped. At least the hood pop works, unlike with the Crown Vic. God, I forget how big this engine bay is. I gotta lean in like all the way to reach the carburetor. So first of all, I gotta take the air filter off. Get access. You know, this thing might benefit from a new air filter. I think this thing's been in here since I've known Grandpa having the car. You know, I guess I get some light going so we can see in here. Why not? So let's see, I gotta remember. Oh, I see how that works. So I think I need to adjust that so that is further down. I think I need to screw that out. But I still don't see my high idle screw that he was pointing at. Oh, is that it? That must be it. That's gonna be hard to get to. So this screwdriver is actually from my TV, but it might just be the right size. How easily does that turn? Okay, it turns super easy. Okay, so I'm gonna leave my screwdriver there and hope it doesn't melt, and my flashlight. And let's get this thing started and also hope everything doesn't fall into the engine. Oh geez, the wipers are going. Oh well. Okay, starting to die. I also gotta make sure not to get my hands into anything. Don't die on me. Oh hey, that was a difference. Hey, that's pretty good. Let's get the wipers turned off. This is another issue I need to solve. Hey, they worked great that time, but the wipers sometimes will not go down until you restart the car. Oh, now it's starting to idle a little rough again. Yeah, be very careful. I don't want to lose a finger. Oh yeah, it's starting to warm up is what's happening. That's too much. I think I'm going to leave it there for now. We'll have to see if that helps in the future. I am going to kill it though, because I want to get ready to time it before I have it completely hot. So hopefully our idle works a little better when cold. I didn't even adjust it very much. I just turned it maybe about that much. Oh man, there is standing coolant in the top of the engine block. There's got to be a coolant leak somewhere. That's not good. I should get out the timing light and see if that even works. Looks like my grandpa had a little incident at one point. That's completely melted. This one is too. He must have let them rest on the headers or something. This one is a cheapo. I would be surprised if it works. Let me go grab the thing that goes in between the spark plugs. All right, so here's the part that goes in between the spark plug wire and the spark plug. You essentially stick this part onto the spark plug where the wire would usually go, and then you stick the wire onto this, and that gives you something metal to clamp onto to get a power signal, so this thing flashes whenever the cylinder one has power. Fires, essentially. Whenever the cylinder one fires. I'm not getting anything. I think that's how it works. You just need to short it across negative and positive. Yeah, this thing is completely shot too, I'm sure. I'm just going to order my own timing light. They aren't that expensive. You can also get an inductive one where you don't have to mess with this piece. It just goes around the wire, but they aren't even that much more expensive and they sure are a lot more convenient. I guess that's all we're doing today because I don't actually have a timing light, so I need to get one of those ordered. I guess I probably should put the air filter back on. This is why these cars had to have such a beefy bumper so you could climb on them. Oh, I guess I could check for that coolant leak. What all do I have? Starter, coolant leak, power steering, and timing. I could also check the power steering fluid if I can remember where that is. That's looking pretty dry, but it does say to fill hot. Let's let this thing get warmed up, and while it warms up, I can look for that coolant leak. You know, what's that? That sure looks like someone's tried to do a botched repair on it before. Let me show you what I'm looking at here. And by someone, I probably mean my grandpa. All right, so I'm just looking at right there. See, there's a little bit of fluid right there. I don't know if you can tell it's reflective. And then there's just a bunch of junk around here that looks like someone tried to repair it. And that might be our issue. That's just to the front there, right after it goes into or comes out of the water pump. My other idea where I thought I saw it initially is this little piece right here. And that comes up and this hose goes into the heater core. That's where I thought I saw it leaking. So that's my first guess. But that up there in the front looks suspicious too. Let's start it up and let it warm up. It should start right up since it's been running recently. Oh yeah. Let's look for it leaking right there first. That's also where the big pool of water is. I'll bet you that's where it's leaking from. That's got to be it. Oh wait, I see some water coming out. I did find where it's leaking. Let me show you where I see it dripping. All right, I'm gonna try and show you this, but we'll see. So if you see that little piece right there, oh, there you can see it. It's going on right there. Look for drops of water right there. Yep, you can see them. So I'm seeing a leak from there. I don't know where that goes to. It looks like it screws right into the carb. I'm not sure why coolant would need to go into the carb. I don't know how these things work. Trying to figure out what that goes down into. What looks like the AC compressor, maybe. The AC is not on though. That really appears to go to the AC compressor though. I don't know why it would be leaking out of there. Is that AC? No, this is AC. That's like the emissions pump or something. That's something for emissions that my grandpa unhooked. Well, let's let this thing warm up the rest of the way and then I'll check the power steering fluid. It is pretty warm now, so I don't know, it might be fine to check it. And that's kind of dangerous. You got to put your hand right down there with the belt. All right, I've got power steering fluid with stop leak, because if any cars ever needed it, it's this one. Also the Loyale, that's what I initially bought this for. Oh, that's interesting. I wondered if that would happen. I can actually see the water evaporating off of the block here, which makes sense. So I don't know what's up with that. I'm gonna have to figure that out. All right, let's see if I can check the power steering fluid. Now let me grab a paper towel. Let me not get my hand caught in the belt here. Maybe I should roll up my sleeve. This seems dangerous as hell, dude. Maybe they just mean it needs to be warm and it doesn't need to be on. That would make more sense. I'm gonna go with that. I'm not gonna check this thing while it's running. That just seems stupid. Yeah, sometimes it does that. I don't know if you saw. So the issue that I'm trying to solve here with topping off the power steering is that when it's cold, sometimes the steering just won't work. This probably won't fix that, but can't hurt to check. It's easy. Full hot is up at that line. It doesn't look like we're even close. Yeah, we aren't even on the stick, so this actually might be the issue. I've never been able to get this funnel down in here with this thing running. This will be fun. Let's measure that again. Oh, we are up. Dude, I nailed that. I don't know if you can tell, but look at this. Shiny right on the bottom of the top line. All right, nailed it. Let's start it up and rotate that through the system and then see if it needs any more after that though. Again, it should start right up this time. All right, let's check the coolant while it's waiting. It says to check it hot, so yeah, that's still way down. Let's add a bunch of coolant. Well, that's full up. All right, let me turn the wheel and see if that cycles the fluid through and see if we need any more. Check that power steering fluid again here. That appears to still be perfect. Let me just wipe it off and check it another time though. Yeah, we are perfect. All right. All right, so before I go inside for the day, I noticed just randomly, I was just playing with them because I'm like that. But I think the light bar on the Crown Vic might not be working. The top one, the roof one I think is, but the front ones might not be. So I'm gonna go take a look at that and make sure those are working. And if not, maybe I'll try and do a little bit of wiring today. There. Oh, so actually it's the roof one that's out. These are working. Okay. I'm gonna pull this thing into the other driveway and see if I can figure out what's going on with that. As you can see, I spent a long time on this, tried a bunch of different things, but I'm gonna save you and I the time in editing and viewing and just skip straight ahead to the solution. Yay for instant gratification. All right, you didn't see that, but I did find out the issue. Oh man, what the hell did I do to my phone yesterday? Wild. Oh, I bet you it was today when I was like leaning up against the car or something. Anyways, let me show you what the issue was. So you might notice a slight difference between these two connectors. I believe this is the one that's working and this is not. And you know why that is? See how one of the prongs is missing from that one that's really badly corroded? Yeah, that would be the problem. All right, so I just need to bypass these connectors and solder them in hardwire. And with that, we have our light bars back. Once I figured out the issue, that wasn't too bad, but as with everything in cars, my least favorite part is diagnosing. It's just so hard. Perfect. All right, now let's see if this thing starts after having its lights left on for an hour or so. No dice, darn it. I wish I had checked that before I closed the hood. think my parking sensors are gonna get here in time for me to show you this thing getting fixed this week. So hopefully next week. I really want it out of my shop because it's so cramped in there with 2 cars and 2 bikes. Leah's gotten quite a ways on the raspberries here while I was working on my cars, but now that I'm done, I guess I have to help, don't I? This week I saw the first Cybertruck I'd ever seen in person. It's a lot bigger than it looks online, but it is just as striking. I kind of hate it less in person. It doesn't look like everything else. Anyways, onto vehicles that are much more interesting and much, much less expensive. All right, it's a new day. This thing's cold. Let's see if it doesn't die when I start it. I shouldn't have messed with the actual idle, so it should idle really high when it's cold and then drop down once it's warmed up. Let's get her started. This is the real test. It would usually idle just fine, but then once I put it in reverse or drive, that would drop the RPMs and then it dies. So let's see if that happens. That worked so much better. This thing didn't die when I stopped while leaving it in drive. Previously, I'd been shifting into neutral when I came to a stop until the car warmed up. It just works now. That's how it should work. So adjusting that screw just totally fixed it. It does still idle a little bit rough. Like I can feel it kind of shaking when I'm at a stop. When it's still cold, once it warms up though, that smooths out. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm still gonna do the timing and see if that just helps it run a little smoother maybe. But yeah, I think that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed seeing what I was up to over the past week, you might consider hitting that subscribe button to see what I'm up to in the future. And hey, if you don't like what I'm up to, you can always hit it again and unsubscribe. If you really like this particular video, you might hit the like button. And if you didn't like this video, then hit the dislike button and leave a comment telling me what I could do better in the future.